Hey folks, before we get started with this video, I just want to do a quick life update. My girlfriend's cat isn't doing particularly well right now. He's ended up at the vet a bunch of times, and we think he has pancreatitis right now. We're not 100% sure, but we think that's what's up. So I'm going to plug my girlfriend's side hustle today in hopes of, raising some money for our good cat friend Midnight. She does clothing reselling on this site called Poshmark. Essentially, she goes thrifting, buys clothes, like name brand stuff, and then resells them on this site for a discount. So if this is something that sounds interesting to you, this will be the top thing in my video description every day this week. Consider checking it out, or if you have any female friends who are into clothing, maybe pass it their way. Or if you're interested to supporting the cause, but you're not really interested in clothes, you can use my usual donation information to throw some support that way. Just, make sure it's clear that it's for the cat or vet bills or something for tax purposes. All right, let's get on with the show. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. Today we're going to be playing with Mitchell S.'s Super Friends list. So in case you're not familiar with this general archetype, the idea is you play as many Planeswalkers as you humanly can, and then try to just uptick their abilities a bunch of times and win the game somehow. A lot of times the Super Friends control decks end up being blue-white and then maybe a few other colors as well. And that is the case here. We're kind of like a blue-white deck. We're also kind of like a colorless deck. Like we have the whole Chalice of the Void, Ancient Tomb, Cydia Traders energy going on, but the presence of the card Interplanar Beacon allows us to actually play all these multicolored things. So whenever you play a Planeswalker spell, you gain 1 life, and it taps for a colorless, or you can tap it and 1 other land to add 2 mana of different colors. Use this to only cast Planeswalker spells. So if we have Interplanar Beacon, we can use Ancient Tomb plus Interplanar Beacon to cast something like a Jace or a Teferi on turn 2, which is pretty neat. The design of this deck is cool. I have no idea how it's going to play in practice, but it does get to showcase a sweet card that I've never seen in action before. Liquimetal Torque. It's kind of like Liquimetal Coating, but there's a key difference. This is a mana rock that also has target non-land permanent becomes an artifact in addition to its other types until end of turn. Now, why might we want that? Well, we have the greatest thief in the multiverse, Dak Faden. So we can tap Liquimetal Torque, target one of my opponent's permanents, and then yoink, all of a sudden it is ours, which is a super neat combo. And sometimes this will do cool stuff with Karn's ability as well. Notably here, though, this does say target non-land, unlike Liquimetal Coating. So we can't just use this to nuke lands, unfortunately. One thing I'm a little concerned with is that this deck has 4 Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. This is a card that costs 5 mana. I wonder if we're going to have the mana to cast this. I'm unsure. Like, we do have 27 mana sources, which is a lot. But I do wonder, like, with things like Delver and Wasteland and Port in the format, like, how frequently am I going to get to do the thing? As far as the sideboard goes, most of this is a Karn package, so we don't actually have too many sideboard cards. I think this is going to be a fun league. I have no idea how it is going to go in terms of results, but it is going to be a wild ride one way or another, and I hope you all are here for it. We are going to get to showcase some cards that are really neat, but are maybe not strong enough in most Legacy shells to actually see play. I hope you'll enjoy this. If you're new here, please consider subscribing for Legacy, Modern, and Vintage content 5 days a week. If you're a regular, throw me a like before we get started. And if you want to try this one out or get one of your own decks on the channel, that information, as always, is available in the video description. Alright, so now the question is, how much is Phil gonna complain about mana this league? Will we get to cast our spells? Let's find out. Okay, I'm looking at a one-lander here. This is going to be a mulligan. I'm on the play. I am on the play. How do I feel about this? This is sus. Like, do I just lean into the fact that I have 27 mana sources and keep this? Probably. Alright. Help me, Chalice. You're my only hope. Please resolve. Okay, it resolved. Do I Chalice on 0? Am I playing any, like, Moxen or anything? No. Yeah, then I'll Chalice on 0, in case my opponent's a combo deck of some kind. I'll have things to do with my mana if I draw lands. Okay. Looking good thus far. We'll just chill now. Just hang out, have a good time. Land, prismatic ending, table flip. Yo, I wasn't serious. Don't do it. I have a family. Plateau. Stoneforge? Ah, shit. Alright. I mean, I drew a mana source. That's the good news. This pauses my opponent considering forcing my Azorius Signet, and it feels bad. Yep. Alright. Plateau's a little uncommon. I wonder if that's, like, a land that actually matters to their deck, or if that's just, like, oh, okay, that is a land that actually matters to their deck. Finishing my thought, I was going to say, or if that's just, you know, one red flex land or something for prismatic ending. Alright. Land go. We have 3 mana, but we don't have actual Teferi mana. So we're probably playing against some, like, Murktide Regent, Ragavan, Dragon Rage, Channeler, Predict, Expressive Iteration, Mush. Oh. Alright. We just concede here. No, I don't think so. I have a Pithing Needle effect in my sideboard. I have a Sorcerous Spyglass. Okay. I think this one's far enough gone that I'm just gonna junk this. If my opponent has, like, an unchecked Jace for multiple turns, they're gonna win this one. I don't think I particularly get to sideboard very much. I'll probably board in these Mystical Disputes and the Ashiok, and that'll be it. Chalice is not super potent versus my opponent's deck since they have Prismatic Ending, but I probably have to keep it in. And my blue count is kind of low for these Force of Negation. Oh, no. I have to count all the Planeswalkers. I was looking at, like, the mono blue cards, and most of this stuff is actually blue. Okay. Why don't we trim 2 5 drops and trim 1 Force of Negation? I could also trim Dovin, but making my opponent's spells cost more is reasonable if I get it in play early. On the draw, I'll probably play the Teferis over a couple of the Dovins. Okay, this has an Interplanar Beacon. Yeah, this is a keep. So go Chalice, Beacon, City, Teferi, or actually, that's small Teferi. Yeah, I'll do that turn 2. Sure. Reasonable. I don't think I would force to protect this Teferi. Or this, Chalice. Although, I just have a deck full of Planeswalkers. I would draw another. Maybe I would. Alright, fine. Let's do it. Let's get weird. And then just hope it goes better than last time. Sure. Okay. I guess I play this in case I draw 5 mana Teferi next turn. Okay. Alright. It's the greatest thief in the multiverse. I don't think I want to play around Spell Pierce. Definitely not, actually. I want to play around a Daze. I'll play around a Daze by playing my land first. Alright. Blue-red. Hello, Dak. Alright. Plus, target me. Nice. I need the city. I need to play a 2-drop next turn. Not really. I think I just want persistent lands. Although, it does just set up for a quick Mycosynth Lattice if my opponent doesn't have any counters. Yeah, sure. Let's do that. Liquid Metal Coating plus DAC actually is really good next turn. I just take one of my opponent's lands, yoinks it. Yeah, I'm game for that. Okay. Yeah, sure. Knock yourself out. Ponders in exile. Sure. Okay. Okay. So let's go ahead and just cast the Karn before playing my land. Just leaves me more flexible. So now I'll play this. Minus Karn. Yes. Grab liquid metal coating. Cast liquid metal coating. Target this land. Take this land. This land is my land. This land is my land. Okay, we're done. Yeah, okay, cool. Alright, let's keep doing that. That was fun for me. Yeah, so on the draw, where I don't just like dove in before my opponent does stuff, I think I just want different Planeswalkers. How's Ashiok? Ashiok's pretty sick on turn 2. Let's do Ashiok. Mystical Dispute better than Force of Negation? Unclear. Maybe not. Yeah. Yeah, sure, this is fine. I have a reasonable set of tools at my disposal. I don't do anything on turn 1, but you can't have the Ancient Tomb in every hand. So I think that's fine. The big question will be, like, is it better to play a Chalice on turn 2 or a Signet? I think it's Chalice. I also think it was maybe correct to play the Beacon there. You play the Beacon there, so if you top deck Ancient Tomb, you can play Jace. Yeah, it resolved. That was a long think. My opponent Prismatic Endings, I am probably supposed to counter that. Okay. My opponent's mana base is fucking wild. Yeah, let's snap off this counter spell. I think I pitched Dak. Keep Jace. Nice. Ooh. Yeah, let's just do this. Alright. Ooh, okay. That's fine. Like, I have a Looming Jace. And I have double Signet next turn if I don't hit my land drop. Okay. I'll cast Signet number 1. And I'll use that to cast Signet number 2. And then next turn I can play either Jace or Teferi, depending on what seems like a better idea. Oh, do you have like a Hull Breacher? That would be kind of annoying. I just don't know what's going to be happening on the other side. Like, they have access to everything. Okay, in Endurance. Fine. Slightly annoying. Okay, and what do you have now? Okay, sure. Just trying to hit their land drop by cycling now. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I do not get to do both. This is awkward. Can Jace bounce, kill the token, and then play Teferi? Yeah, this Endurance that's in play is really awkward. Like, the second creature that's in play is incredibly awkward for me. I don't love this. Not what I seek to do with my Jace the Mind Sculptors. But it is what I'm sort of forced into doing. I have an Ensnaring Bridge on my sideboard, by the way. Yes. Cool. No, don't play more creatures. This makes tucking the Endurance notably worse as well. They don't really have permanent answers to things. Say Lovey. Just try to out-card advantage his Endurance. Like, just play Teferi, plus try to draw more Planeswalkers, get multiple Planeswalkers in play, and, like, that's how I beat it, rather than removing it. That's not the craziest thing I've ever done. Alright. I think this is going to be better than, like, trying to minus on the Endurance when my opponent has a active Jace that can just, like, brainstorm and dig towards it. New Chalice. Really not what I'm looking to draw. I don't want to put that on 1, I don't think. Alright. Got some lands untapped. I don't really know what my long-term plan is, other than, like, draw Planeswalkers. Like, I'm not super good at actually killing creatures. I don't have, like, Wrath of God effects. Oh, that's quite good against me. And my Teferi is going to go down to 2 loyalty. Alright. Now we need to draw something relevant, or I lose this Teferi. Fuck. Alright. Let's draw a card, try to find something else that's relevant. Damn it! Okay, I mean, we play a lot of mana sources. That's not unexpected. Okay. So it goes. And I think we're going to go for a Chalice on 2. And shut off some other outs. I get to untap some stuff, but I lose my Planeswalker here. My opponent has, like, a Jace and a Sylvan Library. I'm pretty unlikely to do things that matter for the rest of this game. Opponent correctly surmising that they can currently afford to take the damage. Alright, goodbye Teferi. Yeah. Get Fate Sealed. No, they're gonna Brainstorm. So I guess I'll save these fetches in case I do get Fate Sealed later. Right. We have Fireball in this deck. What's at 9? Karn for Walking Ballista actually ends up being, like, totally reasonable, right? Alright, they targeted themselves to just get a card out of there with Sylvan Library. So they're not letting me get, virtual value off my Flooded Strands. Opponent has 6 cards in hand as well. I think we're probably donezo. Okay, this does not really do anything here. I mean, my opponent might decide to kill it. I've got that going for me. Oh, this is worth a card? I did not think this was worth a card. Sure. Alright, my opponent continues to filter. I have 1-drops and 2-drops shut off, but, like, my opponent has a 3 and 4-drop in play that are doing their things. This is going to be a prismatic ending. Remove the Chalice on 1. Yeah. Oh, they're removing the Chalice on 2. Interesting. Alright, Brainstorm away. What does that mean? Could be like a Snapcaster Mage, could be Expressive Iteration. Like, there's possibilities here. Alright. I do not expect this to work. We'll try. Barn. Oh, they could also have actual factual counterspell too. 3. Force of negation, yeah. Okay, I think this is no. Like, I think I've lost, but I just draw more Karns than my opponent draws counterspells. There's a chance. And, like, Chalice is still in play, although my opponent between Jace and Sylvan Library should be able to filter it quite well. Alright, Brainstorm away. Okay, sure. Okay. Okay, I think with the Chalice gone, I'm comfortable with the concession. That's fine. Alright, we don't have enough mana here. Easy mulligan. We don't have enough mana here either. Do I keep? Or do I go to 5? I have 27 mana sources. I'll have 53 cards. Not counting the one that goes on bottom, because I don't care about that one. I draw a land about half the time. I get 2 draws to draw a land to have a functional hand. Is this better than just mulliganing and doing something on turn 1 or 2? Let's go to 5 on the play. Fuck. Are these both big Teferis? At 5, I probably keep this, but this is exceptionally awkward. We're back 1 of these and probably 1 Chalice. And just keep the artifact mana. I think I'm supposed to attempt to Lies the Chalice on turn 1 and hope that this steals me a game. Fuck, alright. Alright, we're playing against Delver. I'm gonna get Wastelanded and die and lose. Okay, didn't get Wastelanded and die and lose. We'll find another way to lose instead. It's fine. Alright. Dragon Raid Channeler, Ragavan. Okay. Play the Torque. Shit. Do I just concede now? I'm so incredibly unlikely to come back from my opponent having a Ragavan start, and my opponent's Ragavan is going to hit just absolutely batshit insane stuff from my deck. Like, after mulliganing to 5, keeping a weak hand, losing out on my thing that could win me the game, and losing out on my next reasonable play. I think I'm just going to drop this one and, like, keep the league flowing for the sake of entertainment. I wouldn't do that in our tournament, but we're not in a tournament. Okay. Let's keep some extra counter spells, and maybe we'll play the Ashiok. I don't think 5 drops are where I want to be at versus the Daze deck. So let's get rid of some or all of those. Okay. There's a hand that has a turn 1 Chalice on 1 with Force of Will backup. I'll keep that and hope it's good enough. Alright. Ancient Tomb, Chalice on 1. Resolves. Good. Don't wasteland me. Nice. Okay. So now we're essentially just waiting for lands. Okay. I have some. Oh. Interesting. Okay, so it is a Death Shadow Delver variant. Power and toughness are equal to 20 minus the highest life total among players. Okay, so it is a 2/2 currently. I don't want this in play. I want to have an empty board for when I start doing shit. Narset? Maybe Dak. Maybe Narset. Cool. Okay, can't cast any spells. Nice. I expected this going into the league, which is why I'm not really mad. Cool. All right, just gonna look at each other. My opponent is legit going to just discard a card this turn. Okay, cool. I'll probably play one of these cards around a Daze this turn. Let's pick up like Tundra and Volk, I guess. And I think I want to play the Teferi first. Just makes my future Planeswalkers all that much better. Okay, I floated a mana. Did you see that? I will pay. Okay. This is worth forcing, I think. Nice. We'll just plus this. Yeah, this just means like my Jace is gonna resolve. Ooh, Chalice on 2 instead, actually. Probably Chalice on 2. We've got time to win. We don't need to win now. We'll just keep plussing this Teferi. This Teferi is gonna protect other Planeswalkers if some shit manages to slip through. Okay, nice. Jace time. Okay, my opponent's done with me. Alright, let's do the thing where we resolve Chalice of the Void again. That felt good. Now that I know that I'm playing against Death Shadow, opponent might have more like non-blue things than I might want Mystical Dispute for. I'm gonna really lean on Chalice. I don't think I want this Pyroblast either. Let's bring just more of these back in as things that remove my opponent's stuff. The Ashiok becomes less good than I thought it was going to be too. So this can turn 2 Dak Faden, turn 3 Teferi. Is that good? As good as a Chalice hand, I don't think. Yeah, I'm mulligan this. Multiple interplanar beacons. That's sort of interesting. Okay, I'm in for this. I'll pitch a land. Alright. I don't really want to see like a Delver on turn 1. I'd much rather see like a Ponder. Okay. So I'm looking to win this game via Karn and Snaring Bridge. So let's go land, pass. I'm probably not going to play the Dak Faden in this game. The Dak Faden probably is Force of Will fodder unless I draw a blue card that's worse. I'll take my 1 here, that's fine. Okay, sure. Still only at 1 card type, that's the good news. Alright. Rid of the second threat? I need to get rid of the second threat. I really want to save this to protect Karn, but... yikes. Sure. Okay. Oh well. Now I don't necessarily need to protect Karn anymore. Tundra? Volk? Tundra? Tundra? No, Volk? But I don't think it matters, actually. Interplanar Beacon is going to do all the fixing that I need. Ragavan is fucking terrifying, though. Really needed my opponent not to have Daze so that I could work towards Karn next turn and Snaring Bridge the turn after. I think I'm dead. Alright, I'm taking 3 down to 14. I'm on it. Yeah, okay. I can concede to that. I'm not going to come back from that in time. That's just not happening, especially with that. Yikes. Okay. GG's. Okay, so this is kind of a weird hand. Like, my first play is a turn 3 Dovin. I don't know that this is fast enough. I'd really like to take advantage of being on the play, and this hand does not take advantage of being on the play. I think I ship this. Go harder. Yeah, like, this is a turn 2 Dovin. This hand's much better. Oh, let's keep this and pitch the Force of Negation and just keep a pile of Planeswalkers. Alright, Flooded Strand pass. Yeah, this taxation effect is pretty dope. Alright, well, let's attempt to fetch, see if we get stifled. Not get stifled. Grab Tundra, and play Dovin. Please work. I want to see this card in play. Okay, that's fine. Ooh. Alright, opponent pitched a Snapcaster Mage, which means we're settling in for another control match of some kind. right? Oh, please don't play a threat. Oh, that's fine. Preordain thing. Top as well. Okay. Preordain is not the most common in the control list. Could be playing against a combo deck that just happens to have a Snapcaster Mage or two for redundancy. Ooh, I like that a lot. We're gonna play that this turn. Come on, Teferi. And then I get more other Teferi next turn, which is no. All right, so there's a counterbalance. So my opponent is probably pretty firmly in the control category. Okay, sure. Fuck. That's so good against my deck. Fairy minus Narset. Guess that's what I'm doing. Like life total be damned here though. Like, just ow. Just generally speaking, ow. Alright, Teferi, do your thing. Alright, this one worked. Gunk Narset. Hope my opponent can't get it back in this turn cycle. I don't like that. Brainstorm card's pretty good. Yep. Now my opponent just recantrips with it. Its loyalty is reset. Okay. Arn. Arn's cool. Not sure that I'm actually supposed to Arn immediately. I think I'm supposed to just play 2 spells this turn. Like, I know my opponent has a Spell Pierce, so I'd like to keep this live. And I can play the Greatest Thief in the Multiverse. Okay. It resolves. I'll not plus myself. And next turn, I turn this into a critter and steal it with Dak. That's my plan. This one I'll still do. Won't do that one. Okay. I'll untap my lands. Alright. Stupid Narset. I will steal you. Force a Will. No! I know they have a card to pitch too. Fuck. Alright. Sure can't really interact with my opponent's Planeswalkers reasonably. This is starting to feel like an 0-4 drop league. Not good at killing creatures once they're in play. I'm not good at, like, attacking Planeswalkers. Seem to be mulliganing pretty heavily, too. Come on, good draws. Is that a good draw? Good draw, right? Take Jace. Or I could take Narset. You know my opponent has Force of Will, though. Yeah, maybe they won't see what's coming. Yeah, I know they have Force of Will. So they just totally missed that. Alright, do I take Narset or Jace? I'd probably take Jace. Alright, target Jace. Take Jace. Plus this. Plus this, target myself. I want a Chalice on 2. I don't know that I care. I'll put it on the bottom. I just want more Planeswalkers with different names at this point. I think that's what I'm going for. Ooh, okay. That sucks. Now my opponent can bounce this Jace, return it to their... Wait, oh no, it can't bounce Planeswalkers. Okay, sure. That's fine. Okay, land is actually really good because I can Torque and Karn. I guess Torque is the bait spell. Because my opponent will counter it this time. Because they know what's up. Yeah, that's fine. Fishing the Spell Pierce that I knew about. Now I'll fetch, grab a new land. Cast a Karn. Okay. I'm currently Hellbent, which means I can Dak plus myself safely. Alright. I'm just going to keep plussing this to Teferi, make sure I keep it alive. Jace, Fate Seal myself. That on the bottom. Karn minus. Yes. Let's just pick up a Mycos and Lattice and try to kill my opponent next turn. Your move. Okay, Teferi pluses. Ooh, True Name Nemesis is annoying. Not that annoying. Dovin. Karn minus, get Ensnaring Bridge. There's so many different permutations for how I can do this turn. Go for the Ensnaring Bridge based line. I don't know if this is crazy, but I'm going to play this around like a daze effect. Okay, cool. Alright, there's Dovin in play as well. Plus this. My opponent's Narset is doing me some good here. Plus my opponent. No, you can have your land. I don't want to activate this one. I don't want to activate this one. And I don't want to activate this one. Okay, cool. Turn. And now we'll see if my opponent can wiggle through this. I'm gonna have to stop this Teferi, but the Mycosynth Lattice does that, at least in theory. Also at 5 life. I believe all of that I've done to myself, by the way. Jace's ultimate is in sight. Okay, there's the land that I put on top of their library. Oh, they have their own Jace. Okay, cool. And I'm gonna floop down this Mycosynth Lattice and see if you lose. Then go from there. Yeah, I mean, like, show me your Force of Will. Okay, nice. Just a couple of Planeswalkers. I don't believe we won that. Feels good, but scary. Alright, I probably want Ashiok. Just a really good turn 2 play against these sorts of decks. I probably want the Pyroblast for my opponent's walkers. I probably want the Mystical Dispute for their walkers. The Dovin seems really good when I'm on the play, and then otherwise questionable. So I probably junk those. And I might do something different when I'm on the play, so I can just like leverage this as an early play. Oh, also this is 61, so I should probably cut something. I don't know. Maybe the games go long enough that the Mystical Dispute is not like as good as I think it is going to be. Because my opponent will just like end up paying around the mana leak. My hand is unexciting. I don't know that I want to mulligan it though. Like I have 3 Planeswalkers, 3 mana sources, and a Chalice. That probably just doesn't get to go back. I believe it is correct to play Beacon here on the off chance that I draw an Ancient Tomb. I leave myself with the option to play a Teferi on turn 2. Okay. Really just want lands. Nice. Let's jam the Chalice this turn and see if it works. I don't really expect it to. Like, either because my opponent answers it or because they counter it. Yeah. Like, I know Spell Pierce is a card that they're playing. This Teferi is real sick if I manage to get it in play, though. Alright, so there's access to white mana. Oh. Well, fuck me. Okay. That's not really something that I was actively thinking about playing around. I still have 2 Karns, thankfully. So, like, I'm not dead in the water, but this is not great. I have 2 basics in the deck, and I lack the ability to fetch them now. I also have 2 signets that could help out quite a bit. But I think we just got. I don't know, my opponent took themselves off white too, so that's like no Teferis, no prismatic endings for them. At least in the short term. Okay. Alright. Here we go. Stamped Karn. Snapcaster Spell Pierce. Okay, that's really good. That also means that my opponent is going to have something that can pressure the next Karn. I believe this game is over. Then again, I thought we were going to lose the previous one too, so play out a little longer. Probably scoop it up if my opponent sticks another threat, though. Yep, okay, that's fine. Like, I am not going to beat Jace Snapcaster. Like, the Snapcaster pressures the Planeswalkers, the Jace bounces the Snapcaster to give additional interaction. This is not gonna happen. I will see if the Karn works, but if the Karn doesn't work, I'm done. Oh. Okay, well, that means I can minus get Sorcerer's Spyglass, shut off the Jace, and then I think it is Sorcerer's Plague. Shut off the Jace, and then like have a hope of doing enough other things that I can get there. Okay, the Jace brainstorms. Yeah, a Force of Will or Force of Negation here, I think, just beats me outright. That Plains also just means that my Sorcerer's Spyglass isn't safe. Life is bad. Right. Okay, I can concede here. I am not going to beat all that stuff. This card is 1 card too late. So, like, I shut off the Jace, then I lose my Karn, then I have no castable cards. Yep, okay. We can concede. GG's. Oh, right, this isn't the end of the round. I won the first one. Yeah. Configuration's okay. I don't know if I'm supposed to play the Dovins on the play. Like, I could do something like this. Play Dovin. Alright. If I do that. Just, like, lean into being the one who can stick something first. Like, not keep that Pyroblast, because I'm trying very hard to Chalice on one. I don't know if this is actually good. But it sort of feels like if I am trying to, like, desperately answer my opponent's stuff with a deck that's not really meant to do that, probably in a losing battle. I just want to, like, slam 3 haymakers in a row on turns 2, 3, and 4 and hope they start sticking. Okay, opening hand has no acceleration, but has 4 planeswalkers and 3 lands. How do I feel about that? Does this win? I don't know that this wins. I also don't know that it doesn't win. I would much prefer a turn 2 play of some kind. Is this me mulliganing too aggressively? This would probably be me mulliganing too aggressively. I'm gonna go ahead and keep this. I'll just pass here. I think I'm gonna fetch out my island with this and just, like, not be as exposed to Blood Moon as I was last game. Oh, that was just something I 100% was not expecting. Since I have my red covered via Interplanar Beacon, like, I can fetch freely. Best draw is a Soul Land that I can dove in on turn 2. Alright, that was no shuffle, but it took them a while to decide that. Alright. Soul Land. I mean, that's almost a Soul Land. I guess let's hide the planes in my hand for a while. Other than a Soul Land, Chalice was about one of my best draws. Okay, it has worked. Again, Prismatic Ending means that, like, this is not necessarily sticking around forever, but it's quite good. Alright, am I losing it immediately? Survey says yes. Alright, so now it's a question of, like, Dovin versus Teferi. I think if one of these resolves, I'd rather it be small Teferi, so let's cast Dovin first. And let's get my life. I have a lot of endgame here. Okay, there's the Force of Will. That's fine. That was the bait. We'll resolve the quote-unquote better planeswalkers later. Sure. And that was a shuffle. It looks like my opponent is going to miss land drops. That's not a good place to be. Alright, so it is little Teferi time for me. I will just minus this immediately and try to hit a land drop if this resolves. Okay, this is worth a Force of Will in my opinion. Because if I junk this, then my opponent's future counterspells are off. Ooh, Chalice on 1 next turn will be pretty good. My opponent's missing land drops, and so if I stop them from sculpting, I also stop them from casting big scary things like True Name and their Jace or Narset or whatever. Bottom. They are digging and missing, and whatever I do this turn resolves. My Chalice on 1 resolves, and I'll plus Teferi. Nice. We might steal a match here for this. Oh no. Okay. Take your Null Rod. Plus Teferi. Let's go blue-red. Play a deck. I guess I plus on myself. Although honestly, like, I see myself just wanting to discard most of these things. So this can't be activated, and I don't know, Teferi's kind of slow. Lets me Force of Will a meaningful play on their end, and then, like, play a Karn. Alright, so let's just loot away this Torque and this other Torque. Sure. Doom. Jace? No, just Karn, actually. Because Jace pitches to Force of Will. Plus this Teferi, I guess. Let's minus Karn. Yes, I'll grab Mycos and Lattice right now. I'll have to bounce that to their hand. Okay, my opponent has conceded, so that is not necessary. Okay, we did not 0-4 drop the league. This is a win now. Alright, so round 4 here. I don't have any colored mana. I have a Chalice of the Void backed by Force of Will. I have a Planeswalker if I draw a colored mana source. I don't know about this hand. Like, it obviously is sketch. Am I supposed to just, like, try and get a free roll win? Maybe? I guess I'll keep it. Chalice of Void ain't what it used to be, though, folks. I hate to tell you that if you're a Chalice lover, but this card doesn't tend to win games quite as hard as it used to. Opponent's going to 5, though, so Chalice backed by Force of Will might do it. They're also really tanking on this 5-card hand, so that might be a sign that something is missing from it. Okay. They did keep it. Let's try to do the thing. Come on, Chalice. Nice. If this is a combo matchup, Chalice and Force of Will together have a very, very good chance of just letting me take this game. I'll need to put some kind of win condition in play eventually, but hopefully this buys a lot of time. Okay, we are playing against Oops. So the Force of Will is great. Any blue card I draw is also great. Let's make a thing that can make other things artifacts. Just mostly looking to draw either land so I can start doing stuff, like this Dovin will be quite good, for example, or more blue cards so I have access to more Force of Will effects. Come on, something. Okay, I mean, that's fine. We'll chill. And the best part here is that I'm just going to look like a Stompy deck of some kind, like a colorless Stompy deck. My opponent is perhaps not going to expect counter spells. Yep. Yes. Okay, now I don't have to win the game. I just have to stop my opponent. Yeah, so I'll just Force of Negation that. And then they'll die to the Summoner's Pact. Goodbye. You do that. And I do this. Yeah, and they've got to pay, I think, 4 mana with the Summoner's Pact. They're not going to do that at instant speed. Especially if I put this in play. Alright, so there's Karn. And have 3 mana afterwards. I can't even think about what could possibly be relevant of these cards here, so I guess I'll just grab the Tormod's Crypt. Alright. Grab the Crypt. Pass the Crypt. Yep. Okay, good stuff. Okay, so what do we have for this matchup? Yes. 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 The Tormod Crypt probably stays in the board so that Karn is relevant. Probably board in the Sorceress Spyglass to name Balustrade Spy or Undercity Informer. I always double check which is which because sometimes I mix them up. This is fine. Okay. So basically my late game stuff doesn't really matter. I'm just looking to make it through the initial turns and actually I guess we win via concession more often than not. Fairy doesn't actually win the game at all. It just draws cards. Yeah, I'm actually exceptionally slow at killing my opponent. So I hope to win via concession. Otherwise, like, we're looking at, like, win via Karn Lockout or a Jace Ultimate. Like, Attack Fade and Ultimate isn't going to do anything. This doesn't win the game. This is annoying, but doesn't actually win the game. Okay, good to know. Yeah, I don't know how many fairies I actually want. It's a blue card. It has some relevant text. I need to keep all of my accelerators so I have a greater chance of turn 2 Karn. What's worse, Teferi or Dak? Teferi stops Pact of Negation. Yes, Dak. Dak steals stuff, which is cool, but like I'm just stealing my opponent's mana. They can find more of that eventually. My chalices are kind of medium as well. But I guess they go on 0 most of the time, stop the artifact mana and the packs. Okay. So this can have a turn 1 chalice on 0, a turn 2 Karn. If I turn 2 Karn and chalice of 0, though, then I don't Tormod's Crypt, which is awkward. Also, do I just want a hand with a force on the draw? This is not a bad hand. I just wonder if on the draw this is not good enough. I'm gonna try to find a force. Try to find a force. Okay, there's a force. I'll keep this hand. It's pretty easily the best one so far. Teferi is going back. And I don't think I need the torque here. I have the Force of Will pitching Jace, and then I have turn 2 Dovin. Alright, here we go. Yep. 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 So presumably they have a pact to pay for this. Otherwise, I don't think they just go for it like that there. Yep. Okay. I mean, we did about the best we could possibly do there. I'm gonna let them dump their deck into their graveyard just so I can see if there's anything that I super care about. Okay, there is a bridge from below. Otherwise, this basically looks like the game one deck. Okay, there are 4 Pact of Negations. Okay. Go ahead and concede here. Wait, I didn't double check. Dread Return, Narcomoeba, Thassa's Oracle. Yeah, all the pieces are in the right spot. That's fine. Alright, I mean, let's try to run it back. Okay, this hand does nothing. Or at least nothing quickly. Okay, this is quite a good hand if I don't die on my opponent's turn 1. Because it's Dovin or Canonist on 2, into one of the others or Karn on 3. Is it good enough? My opponent kept 7. I think this has to be good enough. I don't think mulliganing into Oblivion is probably super helpful for me. Like, I have a good mix of lands and spells, and all 3 of my spells are relevant in the matchup, and I have the mana to deploy them. I think that has to be good enough. I still might die, but at some point you just have to hope that the opponent is, like, needs 2 turns worth of mana in order to do their thing or something. I mulligan to a counter spell, and they just have a pact, you know, it's all for naught, right? Alright. Land to go. Don't come in untapped. Shit. Like Thoughtseize me or something. Fuck. Okay. And you also go off fully. Alright, Canonist is gone. Okay, I mean, that was double Spirit Guide in order to make that happen. So they had the turn 1 with backup that was going to be just about everything that I could do anyway. There's Narcomoeba, Thassa's Oracle, Dread Return. Alright. GG's, we tried. Okay, I don't have enough mana. I do have enough mana. This is a keep. And I'll probably just throw back 1 land here. Yeah. I have turn 1 Torque. Turn 2 Interplanar Beacon. I hope this isn't burn. If it's burn, I am going to really hurt myself here. I don't really like the second Teferi as a draw. Okay. A Stoneforge deck. Oh, it's a prismatic ending. That's fine. I don't mind Force of Will here. Filter to blue-red. Pass this deck. I really wanted the Torque so I could start taking my opponent's lands, but that is what it is. Hello, Torque. Am I just getting rid of this Force of Will? Probably not. I'll probably get rid of this Dovin. Sort of like Dovin and a Teferi. Okay, sure. Please don't do something too scary. Also, are you a blue deck? You are a blue deck. No, you don't get to do that. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna assume that I probably need to just make this land drop. Liquid Metal Torque. Non-land. Fuck. You're not liquid metal coating at all. Sorry, it's been a few days since I played the earlier rounds of this league. That's okay. I mean, this will help me cast a Teferi or whatever, and gives me some good options. Also got super punished for trying to avoid damage to my life total. And for forgetting what my cards did. I have a Narset in play right now. Okay, sure. Yeah, the Narset in play would have been good. Okay, fetch away. Sure. Alright, now what? Okay, take my Torque. Accept. Okay, so now the next question is, what am I doing with my deck? If I play Narset, I can make them draw 1 card to discard 2. That's okay. I don't know if I want to give my opponent that selection. I just want to DAC myself. I think I just want to DAC myself here. I guess I can Narset minus and then decide. Ooh, haven't played a land yet. I'll take this. Cast the Chalice on 1. Now the deck's weird. Alright. Let's do it still. It's a little weird that I, like, showed this Chalice and then I do this because my opponent can discard 1-drops and I'm digging them towards potentially something like a Prismatic Ending, but maybe it's fine. If I had 1 card left in my hand, I would not do this. Oh. Brainstorm and an Expressive Iteration down the drain. 3 mana. Okay. Sure, I'm not good at removing that. I guess I Teferi it. I'll be fine. I'll minus my Narset first, just kind of get a feel for what's going on. Ooh, Karn is also quite good. Oh, Liquid Metal Torque is probably the best thing here, though. Liquid Metal Torque. Take the Mentor. Alright. Liquid Metal Torque. God damn it. Okay. I probably lose now. And, like, I specifically didn't want to DAC them because I wanted to play the Liquid Metal Torque and then take it. Oh, maybe that was greedy. Alright. Keep the card that was in my hand. Say Lovey. As long as my opponent whiffs on a spell this turn, things aren't actually that bad. But I'll lose my Narset here. Go with a Teferi. Alright, it happens. I don't think I realistically get to keep the... good gamble. I don't think that's right, though. Take that Mentor out of play. DAC plus on myself. Jace is excellent. Pass the turn. And bounce this Monk token. It'll kill Teferi. I'll still have a DAC. I have a DAC ultimate this turn. I don't think that's actually all that great. Plus on myself. Decisive Alright, there's a Jace. Bounce that Monk. Okay. Do I want a DAC ultimate? Not really. It probably doesn't do a lot. Just try to loot into some more Planeswalkers here. I guess I Brainstorm. Karn's cool. The best thing going on here. Probably need more mana. Fetch. Oh, that's my last fetchable, apparently. Do a Karn. No, I don't. I don't need to view dungeon information. View sideboard. I guess grab the Liquid Metal Coating. Also grab Heart of Kirin. I think Liquid Metal Coating is just pretty good here. Grab that. Play it. Oh, wow, we got the concession. That's lucky, because we were pretty far away from actually killing our opponent. Maybe they only have 1 white source. And that's unlikely. So we're playing against some sort of blue-white red deck. We don't know exactly how far down the spectrum they are. We've seen Expressive Iteration and Prismatic Ending. We may be looking at Murktides. We're probably looking at Dragon Rage Channelers. Maybe looking at Ragavan. We'll kind of have to see. A lot of my cards are going to be selectively good at times and not objectively good. Probably going to board Dovin out. It's not particularly great versus a go-wide threat like Mentor. I'll replace one of those with an Ashiok. And I'll grab like 2 Mystical Disputes. I could grab a Pyroblast. But I'm bad at answering something like a Resolved Murktide or Jace or something. I'm going to be the one tapping out a lot of the time. Maybe I don't want too many of these effects. Okay. How much do I believe in Karn? Do I believe in Karn enough to keep a hand with 3 uncastable cards? I don't know. Turn two Karn is pretty threatening. Sure. I'm up a game. We can gamble on just like my opponent not having a force in their opener. Okay, there's another uncastable. Alright. Doesn't bode super well for me. My opponent did not make any turn 1 or turn 2 plays. They probably have something to do. Oh, cool. I am going to immediately minus and grab a Liquid Metal Coating. It's both good with Karn and good with the Dak Fadens that are in my hand. Alright, so that is land drop 3 for my opponent. We'll see if they have a Mentor or something. Yep, triple fetch time. Could get mentored, could get back to basics. We'll see. It's a mentor. Okay, I have a walking ballista, right? You have a walking ballista. So let's minus. Yes. Grab walking ballista. Float mana. Play Volk. Cast a walking ballista for X equals 2. Holy shit, it worked. Ping you. Ping you. And have a Pyroblast available. Sick. Sure. I would rather use this Pyroblast to protect Liquid Metal Coating on my own turn, rather than, like, try to just stop a random Ponder. I don't think my opponent has a counterspell as of right now. Otherwise, like, they would have protected that Mentor, but, you know. Yeah, sure. Knock yourself out. That was one top, one bottom. Cool. I don't mind this, because that means my other Planeswalkers are on the table in the not-too-distant future. Force. I will Pyroblast it. Okay, we're happening. Let's attack the white source, because that's for Prismatic Ending, which is a sorcery. And I don't want to lose the Liquid Metal Coating. I think if it makes it back to my turn without my opponent playing something that impacts the board, I probably win. Yeah, that's fine. That does not impact the board. Okay, yeah, make your land drop. Alright, do you have the ending? Okay, they do have the ending. That sends it to exile, doesn't it? Nice. Let's just take the Tundra out of the deck now. Big Teferi here. I'm plussing with Karn. And all the rest of these are all just, like, fine. I also just like Ashiok and start working that mill angle as well. The Teferi's also fine. Though I kind of think I've worn down my opponent in terms of resources. Let's play the Ashiok. Minus, make sure, you know, we never get hit by like a Snapcaster or a Murktide or something. Then next turn I have enough mana to go Karn minus, play, whatchamacallit, Liquid Metal Coating, and then steal something with Dak. Yeah, that's fine. I've made your fetch lands considerably worse, so I am 100% okay with Brainstorms right now. Okay, sure. Yeah, that's fine. I will really enjoy having a Jace of my own. There's a weird subgame of whether or not I actually clear the top cards of their library. Okay, do I just play 2 Planeswalkers this turn? Like, do I just play Teferi Time Raveler, followed by Dak, rather than go for the Liquid Metal Coating thing, which is worse against a singular counterspell? Probably fine to do so. Alright, so I play a Teferi. It resolves. I'll play a Dak. Just plus this Teferi. I'll Dak target myself. I don't need my second Dak here. Discard Ancient Tomb Dak. I'll just keep plussing Karn. Got a Mycosynth Lattice kill potentially available as well. I didn't necessarily want to do it this turn because my opponent had just the possibility of brainstorming, but next turn, like, once I have this Teferi in play, I know things are safe. Brainstorm away. Decking is going to be something that is quite real. When it's at 28, I still can mill 15 more cards with this Ashiok. Opponent has all sorts of things like Brainstorm Ponder, Preordain, Snapcaster. Yeah, Blood Moon's fine. Like, I can just bounce that and play my shit. Okay, you junk my Teferi, so I can't bounce the Blood Moon. That's legit. Sure. So you're gonna need Force of Will blue card, or you immediately die to Karn. Maybe that's a gamble they just have to take in their position. Okay. Alright, so this is 6 mana. Go ahead and attempt a win here. Okay, it occurs. So we'll just go ahead and speed things up here. Alright, we got some closing words from our opponent who was having some issues with lag. And it looks like there's 50 play points, so we 2-3'd that league, which honestly I'm really happy about for this deck. So overall thoughts on the deck. Probably thumbs down. So a lot of times when you're playing a Super Friends deck, You have things like Wrath of God effects, so that like you floop a Planeswalker in play, you keep them alive for a turn, you cast a Wrath, the board's clear, you have a bunch of Planeswalkers, and you win the game. Or you have something like Fog effects, so that like people can't do damage to them, or you have a whole bunch of spot removal. And if you take a look, it is so hard for me to actually physically kill a creature. Dovin buys you time. Teferi buys you time. Dak Faden doesn't do anything unless you also have like a liquid metal torque, in which case it can take one thing. Karn can maybe like ensnaring bridge or something and get some stuff out of the way. Jace is temporary. Teferi is temporary. If your opponent has something, it is really hard to actually physically remove it. And I think that's probably the biggest weakness of this deck. Now, when you're playing against combo or something like that, and you're just going to go like Chalice back by Force of Will or Dovin back by Force of Will or something like that, that's super legit. I'd say if I had a second complaint about this deck, it's its closing speed. So very few of these cards actually physically win the game on their own. So for example, if I ultimate this thing, it's very good, but does it actually literally win the game? No. If your opponent can dump out multiple things in a turn, like say they're an Elves deck or something like that, you know, your Planeswalker ultimate might not actually be good enough. So it just takes like a very long time to physically kill the opponent. So for example, like all these Planeswalkers just like actually cannot win the game on their own. So that means a Narcits too. That means I'm reliant on these 10 cards to actually win the game with, and they're 4 and 5 drops. So between the lack of real removal and a bunch of these Planeswalkers not being true win conditions, I don't know how viable this deck is in its current iteration. It is also a little rough on the mana. The Liquid Metal Torque helps in terms of acceleration, but there's a lot of double-colored pips in your Ancient Tomb City of Traders deck, and this land only goes so far. As far as the sideboard goes, like so much of it is dedicated towards being a Karn package that like the rest of the sideboard feels kind of underwhelming. I like the tools that are there, but I don't feel like the sideboard is necessarily a slam dunk because you do just physically have so few cards that you actually can side in. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please consider throwing me a like before you leave. If you're new here, consider subscribing for Legacy, Modern, and Vintage content 5 days a week. And if you have something sweet you want to see on the channel, that information for donations is always available in the video description, as is his deck list. Have a great rest of the day. See ya!